this Football Friday as we head through this first day of December. We have reached December. We have 10 shows left. Next week, all the shows will be in the studio. We will do the Football Sunday show from Mulcahy's. That's already sold out. We will do that from 9 to 11:30 on the 10th. On the 14th, we'll do the show from the Museum of Broadcasting, the Paley Center on 52nd Street. We're giving away tickets to that. Matter of fact, I can give away the last two for this hour right now. Right now, be the fifth caller at 866-540-WFAN to win a pair of tickets to the Paley Center for our second to last show, which will be a show will be jam-packed full of guests all day. You know, different people calling in, different people showing up. So we'll have that. We'll do the show 1 to 6:30 from the Paley Center at the Museum of Broadcasting on 52nd Street. Right now, that you can get two tickets, as I said, by jumping on board at the contest line at 866-540-WFAN, brought to you by Bruni and Campisi Heating, Plumbing, and Home Performance, by Agera Energy, the Tri-State's premier electricity and natural gas supplier, by Sports Clips, It's Good to Be a Guy, and The Fan. So next week, I believe early in the week, we'll give away a couple. Next week also, we have a lot of big guests coming up throughout the week. And really, we'll have a lot the last couple of weeks of the show. We will have... We'll have Eli on Monday, which will be interesting. We will have next week A-Rod, Derek Jeter, Coach K, Coughlin, Stern, just to name a few, and we'll have a lot more along the way. We have picks to do. I wanted to go around really quickly for this week's games. It's an okay week of games. I mean, you know, everyone's looking forward to the game in a couple of weeks, that, you know, the game that will define the AFC, which is the New England-Pittsburgh game, which is obviously still 2 weeks away. It will not be moved to prime time. The Giants have next week been flexed to 1 o'clock from the 4 o'clock window. Chiefs come back to the MetLife for the second time in 3 weeks. They'll hope for a less windy day. Let me see what the early forecast holds for Alex Smith. Some people thought they might make the change at quarterback. They won't. The Sunday forecast is for very nice, 54 and sunny on Sunday. What's the wind on for Sunday? You want to give me an idea so we know what Alex Smith is looking at? And they'll have a guy named Revis in the lineup, the Chiefs will. Chiefs reeling right now, desperately need to win against the Jets this week, while the Giants, of course, with Geno at quarterback, will be taking on the Silver and Black out in Oakland at 4:25 that day. You know, the Bills are still in the hunt right now for a wild card. They get the Pats. The Pats are in the division the rest of the way, except for the game at Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. This week they play at Buffalo. Then they have a game in Miami. Then they have the Steelers. Then they have another game with Buffalo. And then they have the Jets. They have all division games, very winnable games, and then they have the game in Pittsburgh on the 17th, which will be in the 4 o'clock slot. Lions desperately to win, get the Ravens. Both teams are, you know, trying to get there, trying to see if they can find a way into the postseason. Ravens, the defense has had its moments. It's been up and down at times, but it's had its moments. Big game in the 1 o'clock window will be Vikes at Falcons. Falcons play this game, then play the Saints on Thursday. Two enormous games. If they are 9-4, they have a great chance to have a big run the rest of the way. Vikes have gotten a tremendous performance from Case Keenum, who has played so well that he was the player of the month. Think about Case Keenum being the player of the month. The Falcons have picked it up. We'll see how they do off a brilliant 10 miles, not bad. Okay, so it's going to be okay. The Browns get the red-hot Chargers in L.A. The Chargers playing much better, have really picked it up. They'll have had 11 days off, so that's a game where you expect them to play really well, and they have some very good players. The Eagles are going to stay out on the West Coast because they can play the Rams next week. This week they'll play Sunday night in Seattle. Seattle desperately needs a game. And the Eagles are playing to wrap up everything and to, you know, lock it up early, but also get that one seed, which they want desperately. They play this week at Seattle on Sunday night, then they come back and play the Rams. Next week they're going to stay on the West Coast. Steelers get the Bengals on Monday night. Bengals are still alive. They try to get to 6-6. They will try to do that this week against the Steelers. Panthers and Saints, big one in the 4:00 window this week. That division is so close with the three teams, so the two of them square off this week. It'll be interesting to see. Both teams have some injuries, how they handle it. The Colts and the Jaguars. Jaguars reeling off last week's loss. Now they get the Colts. The Colts are 3-8, but they've played better than that. They've had a lot of close games. Rams and Cardinals. Hard to see the Cardinals winning that one. The Bucks and the Packers. Broncos and the Dolphins. Texans and the Titans. Nothing to get really that excited about. And the 49ers and the Bears. You know, the interesting thing there is the Bears are probably going through the final stages with Fox. They've gone to Trubisky. He has, not played well, let's be honest. He has not played well. And now they go to Garoppolo. They probably didn't want to. The Bears have played defense at least this year than themselves, but they've played some defense. So they get it in a building where, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of offense, but see if the Niners win. Last week, Garoppolo went in the game when Bethard got hurt. He threw 2 passes, went 2 for 2, and threw a touchdown pass. Everyone got excited. Let's see what happens. I think it's the first of many touchdown passes. We'll see how things go from that standpoint. So that's where we are. You got a couple interesting games. The 1:00 window, you have the Falcons and the Vikings. 4:00 window, you have the Saints and the Panthers. Sunday night, you have the Eagles and the Seahawks. Monday night, you have the Steelers and the Bengals. And, of course, you have the New York teams to sprinkle in there with all the stuff following the Giants and the Jets, seeing Revis and the Chiefs in their building at 1:00 on Sunday. Back after that.